Welcome, dear listeners. We have eerie tales ahead. You'll be lured into the realm of nightmares filled with fear and dread. We'll ease you in with laughs, but you mustn't be misled. Be wary, you've been warned. Don't listen before bed.
Hello, how's everybody going? Welcome to Don't Listen Before Bed. I'm Ari, and I'm speaking with...
Arrow.
It's a special one. So Arrow said today will be a bit of a Christmas special, so we're mixing it up, and I'll be giving the story, and my man here is...
We'll be listening.
Yeah, he's the guest, I guess. This is going to be a weird spin-off.
Yes.
But I want to quickly give you the podcast title, and I want to see what you think.
Hold on. Before we get into that.
Hold on a minute. Where's the intro? Okay, hold on a minute. We're back for another week with a terrifying tale to be told around the campfire. But before we get into that, how is your life going this time?
My life is going well this time. I am doing well, man. It's
Good.
The Christmas period. Times are jolly, but the weather in New Zealand sucks balls. That's all I'm going to say. How are you doing?
You said balls, man. I'm just going to cue into sweat, and we're sweating our balls off right now recording this.
To be fair, so just context for everybody, in our side of the world, Southern Hemisphere, we have summertime during this period of time. So it's opposite to everyone else. When you guys have a winter Christmas, we have a summer Christmas. We've grown up like that. It's normal for us. We love it. We have barbecues outside for Christmas time. Even with that, it's been cold up until like 2 days ago. So yes, today we are sweating our balls off, but we're getting like half a summer. So
it's
that kind of
30
sucks.
degrees. In my room, it's 30 degrees.
What about in your pants?
35 maybe. I don't know. But I'm getting
5
Shrek'd,
degrees.
man. I'm getting Shrek'd. So hopefully my voice doesn't sound odd. It might sound like I'm on fire, but we'll be good. We'll be good. So
Your
let's go.
throat sounds sweaty, I'm not going to lie.
Does it actually?
No.
No good. Okay. Speaking of sweat, what happens when you sweat?
You,
Usually, exercising or
what
hiking.
causes sweat?
Yeah, sometimes.
I thought you meant like
exercising
what
or
happens when
walking.
you sweat. I was going to be like, you slip? I don't know. You
No,
slip over?
No, I was going to say we sometimes sweat when we go out, on a hike in the forest.
Yes,
So
the
today's
forest.
episode,
Sons
we're
of
going to
the
be
forest.
focusing on the forest. And we are not the sons of the forest. We are the investigators of the forest.
All right.
I'm going to title this episode The Lost Woods. And you might be thinking, it might be my favorite area in Zelda, but it's not that. But it's similar. It's, creepy trees and getting lost. What do you make of that?
Okay, so a bit of bias on my side. The first thing that I think of is the Lost Forest in Berserk. Because that is where wacky doodle stuff happens. And it's really dark and demonic, but also fantastical at the same time. So I'm excited because it's my favorite anime and manga.
I feel like I haven't even gotten up to that part. Is that part something to do with fairies, maybe, or?
No, it's not. Yes and no. You probably aren't up to that part, but yeah, it's full of it's the fairies part.
Damn, I'm actually really happy because I love the Lost Woods, and in every iteration of this idea in media and shows and stuff like that, it's always been a similar idea. So hearing that Berserk has this as well, I'm actually quite excited.
Yeah, it's always like a place for hidden or mystical creatures to live and hide from civilization.
Yep.
So
I'm
it's
glad
cool.
you brought that up. Actually, funny enough,
You're welcome.
Last night, so I went down this rabbit hole of looking at the story, and I'm not going to spoil it just yet, but it got me to think about skinwalkers and the noises that they make. And I just want to quickly talk to you about something. So I was watching a video about some guy supposedly recording skinwalkers in his neighborhood, or I should say in his backyard, because he lives in the middle of nowhere. And the comments were getting to me, man. It was quite late, and they're like, hey, just fun fact, there's lore about skinwalkers. The further they sound, the closer they are. They hide behind trees and they try to, change and alternate their voice. So they trick you into thinking they're not around or close. And they're just around the corner staring at you. So I need you to watch that video at some point. But that'll be another time we chat about it. But how do you feel about skinwalkers real quick?
How do I feel about them? I feel
Yeah.
indifferent.
Okay.
And the reason why I feel indifferent is because I don't completely understand them as a
Yeah.
subtype, I would say.
Yeah.
I only see, like, to be honest, I feel like only recently I've really started to hear about them more often. And I
Yeah.
see it in comment sections, and they're like, you better be careful, that's a skinwalker. And it's like, it's a video of someone's like cat doing something really cute. And
Yeah.
so I don't really get it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of video, how about you pull up that video that I sent you, just real quick, if you don't mind. That's not a skinwalker per se. Like, I don't know what you could classify a skinwalker is, but people say that this thing's not human. So I'm curious to see how you feel about these weird ass videos popping up nowadays, where humans kind of glitch and they just don't look human for like maybe 5 seconds, and they're actually quite creepy. That's the problem. Like, they don't look edited or, out of the norm. It's just like a normal ass video of like some bloke walking down and then running into an old lady, and she just looks not human.
Odd.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest with you. I have a pretty funny feeling about this because I once watched a video. By the way, you haven't sent me a video, so I can't see it.
No, on your phone. Did I not send it to you?
Oh, the phone. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, as I was saying, I watched a video like a week ago of this guy the caption, and it was like, sorry, there's a guy in a video, and the caption is, look at the skinwalker. And it's a guy clearly just with a lazy eye. And I was like, that's so mean. He can't do anything about that. And he's getting roasted on the internet by conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
Calling him a skinwalker. And I was like, what if it's just someone that looks different? They can't help the way they're born or the way that they look.
That's the problem. It's a double-edged sword, right? You have, one side, people terrified and saying like, no, this is not human. This is surreal. This is not right. And then the other side is like, what if you're just making fun of someone online, and they see these comments, But please check out that video, and
Okay.
trust me, this is not one of those videos. Like, I was watching this and I was like, kind of like disturbed, if that makes sense. Like, I was like quite, I don't know, grossed out. I know that's quite rude to say, but just watch it, man.
Okay, I just watched it. So what I just saw is someone walking down a footpath in the middle of the night, and as they bring their phone upwards, it pans towards a lady that's on the side of the street, and she has a skinwalker's face. And it looks really creepy, and then they just continue walking, and the lady's just staring at them. But I do believe that one is a makeup job, though,
You
right?
think so?
That. Yeah,
You think
I'm pretty
so?
sure that was like a Halloween costume.
Okay, that's a pretty good job then. Well, then if that's how you feel about it, let's go into the real story now. Let's get into this, and I hope you can give me some feedback on this interesting Reddit post. Now, this story comes from a user who states that they're a search and rescue officer for the U.S. Forest Service. And they say, I have some stories to tell you guys. One of the scariest things I've ever had happen to me involved the search for a young woman who got separated from her hiking group. He says, we were out until late at night because the dogs picked her scent and immediately knew which direction she was in. When we found her, she was curled up under a large rotted log. She was missing her shoes and pack, and she was clearly in shock. She didn't have any injuries. She kept looking behind her as they were taking her back to the base ops, and she kept on mentioning this big thing that's following her with big black eyes. They were kind of confused because obviously they couldn't see anyone. So she just wrote it off as, some weird symptom of shock and continued to walk back. However, when we got closer to the base, the more agitated this woman got, the more, danger we felt, and it kind of was a bit weird. He then says, she kept asking me to tell him to stop making faces at her. At one point, she stopped and turned around and started yelling into the forest, saying that she wanted him to leave her alone. So, real quick, Era, where do you think this is going?
Schizophrenia.
Oh, okay.
No. I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
I actually don't know, to be completely honest with you, because I'm torn between I'm torn between her seeing something actually behind her that they're not seeing, or her just seeing something in her head. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like I haven't gotten enough context to believe her yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is she just going through a bit of a trip
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
seeing like hallucinations in the shadows in the woods that are behind her? Or is she actually seeing something and that these guys can't
Yeah.
see it? Because I'm
So
one of those people that I always give benefit of the doubt. I'm like, but what if they actually are seeing something? I don't want to just
Yep.
count them out as being crazy.
yeah, yeah, me too. Actually, I always try to say like, okay, what if there is a timeline where something kind of like Slender Man is chasing her or like following her? And I just want to kind of paint the environment and picture for everybody listening. It's a really, really creepy, I would say like dark foresty night, and they're treading through, the darkness, trying to go back to the base ops where the search and rescue officer is basically stationed. So think about it, like you can be seeing shadows, you can be seeing random stuff. So like, she is shocked, she's scared, but I don't know. That when I read that up to this part, I was kind of also like, But let's get back into the story. They got back to the base, and right as they were kind of close to the area, he says, we started hearing these weird noises coming from all around us. It was almost like coughing, but more rhythmic and deeper. It was almost insect-like. I don't really know how else to describe it, he says. When we were within sight of base ops, the woman turns to me, and her eyes are about as wide as I can imagine a human could open them. She touches my shoulder and says, he says to tell you to speed up. He doesn't like looking at the scar on your neck. The Reddit author post from Reddit says, I have a very small scar on the base of my neck, but it's mostly under my collar and not visible, so I have no idea how this woman saw it. He then goes back to the story and says, right after she says it, I hear the weird coughing right in my ear, and I just about jumped out of my skin. I hustled her to ops, trying not to show how freaked out I was, but I have to say I was really happy when we left the area. So that's the first story, and that kind of sets up that this kind of area or these what would you call them? I don't want to call them like the lost forest, but basically when you are hiking in the middle of nowhere and you kind of like detour and you're in the middle of nowhere, what would you call that?
A bushwalk? I don't know. What do you? It's like, yeah, just a forest. Not sure.
Okay, so I'll just go with the forest. And I feel like this guy who works, in the search and rescue kind of stations all around, has a lot of things to say that unusual things pop up in the middle of nowhere in these forests.
Park ranger? Would you call him a park ranger?
I actually don't even know is a park ranger someone that looks after animals, maybe, or
a park ranger is someone that usually works at a conservation site, and they take care of like a certain area of woodlands or government protected woods or forests or something like that.
Right. Yeah, maybe he is a park ranger at this point, but basically he's trying to tell us, the listeners and the readers, that these woods are not normal and weird things happen. And he's his story goes on to say lots of weird encounters are constantly happening to him in this forest. So I just want to quickly pick your brain. How do you feel about being lost in the middle of the forest? Obviously, it's scary being lost, that aside, but it's like, do you ever have this idea of like, what if there's weird stuff in the forest? And I'm not talking about like animals per se that are hunting us. Do you ever have these weird thoughts?
Oh my god, the first thing that comes to mind is this movie, and I'm trying really hard to remember what one it is. It's this movie where like this community that lives adjacent to a set of woods, and I can't remember why they live there. I think they might kind of be a bit of a commune or a cult or something like that. But anyway, their whole thing is like, don't go into the woods because you will die. And a set of kids that live in the commune, they dare each other at night to go stand at the edge of the woods and see how long they can stand with their back facing the woods and looking towards their commune. That's so
creepy.
And then it gets to this period of time at night where like it's really dark, it's clearly not safe, and they've been warned in their community that they're not allowed to go there or go near it or anything like that. And And his friends start yelling at him that they can see something coming out. And he's like, no, I know you guys are trying to scare me. I'm tough, whatever. And then, yeah, I think they die or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But that's the first thing that came to mind. I need to find this movie. Hold on. Let me do a quick
I need to
search.
watch it. I've been binging a lot of horror movies just because of this podcast, and I'm loving it. I just need more content to binge, so this is good.
Yeah, this is going to be like impossible to find it. I'm literally looking up Haunted Woods movie. So
no way.
yeah, I'm not gonna find
sorry,
it.
I thought that was the title. I was like, dude.
No,
Okay.
no. Haunted Woods movie with cult.
With Sandra Bullock. That'll get you the title.
I don't think Sandra Bullock is in it.
No, but that's how I do it. Sometimes I Google random stuff like this and it just works.
Yeah, I can't remember even anyone in the movie. It's so annoying. But the first thing that comes up when you look this up, again, is something that we all know about.
Slender Man.
Nope. The Blair Witch Project.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and another classic, Wrong Turn. Do you remember that movie?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Isn't that one like
that movie scarred me for life when I watched it because I watched it way too young.
That kill people, right? Am I tripping? They like murder people. They use tools and stuff on them.
Yeah. It's like you take a wrong turn when you're driving through a rural area and you find a community of, or not even a community, it's like a small family of really deformed, messed up people, and they live in the woods, and then anyone that goes, towards them or off the beaten path, they will eat you and kill you.
That's literally what I worry about is like, what if you find a weird hidden community that you just don't want to like encounter and deal with, and it's like people that will genuinely eat you.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that. That's like the one thing that I really fear about the woods. And I feel like when people go hiking stuff, like, okay, sure, like there's like bears and mountain lions and stuff, but like, what if you run into a weird community that will genuinely kill you? Why do people not think about that?
I don't know. There's enough movies out there to warn us about this. So,
yeah, I feel like
because I'm going through this list and I'm like, oh my God, I've seen a ton of movies with this theme.
Yeah. So how do you feel about the guy or the girl, mentioning that he says, speed up because, I don't want to see your scar. And his scar is obviously not visible.
I don't even have a scar on the back of my neck, and it started tingling when you said that part.
Yeah.
It really creeped me out because, that's the, I mean, that's the classic, right? Like, how would they know? How do they know?
So, well, I'm glad that we.
Do they watch me get changed? What is it?
Exactly. What I was imagining, by the way, is like this thing was right behind his neck and like sniffing it right at his neck hairs, and it's this thing that looks like a demon. That's always what I picture. But basically, he uses that first kind of introductory story to build up the theme, and so now he goes on to the main part of the story. And the reason why I called it The Lost Woods is there's a huge thing where a lot of people online are commenting saying like, I've experienced this too. And their responses is to him saying that during my experience with the search and rescue ops, is that we run into a lot of weird staircases in the middle of the woods.
What?
Have you heard of that at all?
Have I heard of it?
I
No,
don't know why.
I have not.
That's good. You have to keep. Honestly, I don't know why. I was like, have you heard of it? But I just messed it up.
I feel like you wanted to say like heard of it, held it, seen it all at the same time.
Have you heard it, held it? Yeah.
No, I haven't heard of that, but that sounds terrifying. It sounds like an entry into the back rooms or something like that.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. So imagine you have admin privileges on Gary's mod and you start spawning random. Listen, honestly, you start spawning random like structures that don't actually have like foundations or they don't belong in the map or the building. So essentially, you're out in the middle of nowhere. There's trees everywhere, but you see this perfectly well-designed staircases cut out from a perfectly newly built home in the middle of nowhere. That's literally what he describes it as. He goes, and before I get into that, the funny thing is, well, I should say the terrifying thing is a lot of people say like, yes, I've run into random woods that look like they've just been spawned in. It's kind of like Minecraft. Like again, a game is like essentially having like creator mode and just spawning perfectly nicely or nice. What am I saying? New stairs. Right?
I know what you're trying to say. Yeah, it's so out of place. It makes no sense in terms of the context. Even though they're two perfectly normal things, woods and stairs, but they just shouldn't be together. And that invokes a feeling inside of us that is extreme unease and
It's
fear because
very,
it doesn't
very
make
eerie, yeah.
sense. That's what it is.
No, exactly. When things don't make sense, you're just in like, I don't know, in I don't know what would you call it? Like an
Like a
uneasy.
state of you get a state of like shock or unease. Your body just reacts to it. You're just like
Yeah.
something's off here. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is, but I don't want to be here anymore. That's what
Exactly.
that's what liminal spaces are in the back rooms.
Oh, exactly that
it's-
feeling. Yeah.
It's normal. We've all been to a mall before. Nothing in the back rooms is weird. Well, the deeper you go, the weirder it gets. It's the fact that there's no one there. So that's unusual. The context makes no sense.
Exactly.
But it
It's
has
the
such
context,
a strong
effect on you. You just feel
effects.
very,
Yeah.
at unease. Now, the funny part about this, again, I say funny, but it's actually terrifying, is that a lot of people on his follow-up story have all commented saying, like, don't climb those stairs. Whatever you do, do not go up those stairs. I'm curious, to hear, why do you think that is?
Did you say up those stairs? The image in my mind is freaking a stairs down and underground.
No,
Where do the
they're up.
stairs go if they go up?
Okay, I'm so glad that at least there was a bit of a confusion because
because I had an image in my mind and then you just said like
Okay,
up
so
and I'm like, what do you mean?
let's edit that image. So that's the weird part is that these staircases are going up. They're ascending. They're not descending. So they're just in the
Weird.
middle of the forest where it's muddy and, wet and grassy.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
out of nowhere, you've just got these beautiful modern stairs going up.
I
And a lot of
mean-
people are documenting their experiences of these stairs. And that's why I'm like, did everybody just get together to build the story or is it a prank? What's going on? And a lot of people are saying like, yeah, just don't go up those stairs, whatever you do. The moment you climb up, you will start to feel very, very sick and very lightheaded. And people think it might be a portal or like you're actually climbing into, they say hell. And I'd never understood that. I'm like, I don't think you climb into hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into the story. So he is the same guy. So this guy posted that original story, and he is still the search and rescue officer, just to make sure that everyone knows that. So he goes, now, I don't know if this is true in every SAR unit, but in mine, it's sort of an unspoken, regular thing we run into. We've been told not to talk about it by our superiors, and at this point, we've all gotten used to it, and that it doesn't even seem weird anymore. On just about every case where we're really far into the wilderness, I'm talking 30 or 40 miles, at some point, we'll find a staircase in the middle of the woods. I'm going to pause right there. So, are you like me, if you kind of see random stuff like that, are you going to be like curious and climb it for no reason?
I won't, but I'm sorry, I have to bring something up.
Okay.
I found the movie that I was referring to.
Okay, go.
Can I quickly please just link it to you so that I can get this off my
Yeah.
mind and we can get into the story?
Of course.
Because I got hyper fixated.
Yep.
Okay. Click that. I'm
Okay,
trying to find
what-
the name of the movie. I don't know. I found a YouTube clip about it, but I can't find the name. Is it? I think it's just called The Village. Hold on. It's called The Village. Oh my god, it's just called The Village. It's from 2004, and go to 2 minutes and 50 seconds.
2 minutes and 50 seconds. Okay.
Yes.
Don't tell me there's a staircase just suddenly.
No, it's what I was telling you about before. The scene that came to mind.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, we have to watch this together. But isn't that exactly
yeah.
what I described to you? It's this
Yeah,
like
yeah.
community living adjacent to the woods, but there's like a
Yeah,
cult in
yeah.
it,
Yeah,
and then they
yeah.
tell him like run away.
That's the thing. I feel like it's there in plain sight, but it's just hidden away by all the trees and the bushes and stuff.
Yeah. Anyway,
Just-
we'll watch this movie together some other time. Sorry for just like
No, it's
derailing
good.
your story. I
I
that was
actually-
one of those
yeah.
things that was gonna gnaw at me for the rest of the recording until I figured it out.
I'm actually glad you found it because I wanted to see the setting, and this is exactly like what I'm kind of like
Mm.
not worried about. Is like how would you ever know if you move into an area and that's somehow close to kind of like a forest? How would you know what's out there and what isn't? So like
Well,
it's just
there's
creepy
one way to
think
find
about.
out. You can go into it.
Nah, man, I believe cults exist in 2024, coming in the next 2 weeks or a week and a half when this episode airs. But I just feel like cults are like everywhere and people just don't know about it. Do you feel like that too?
I don't feel like I know it. It's true. No.
Yeah.
There's definitely cults out there. There's
Yeah.
many cults, but they're unfortunately not the type of cults that we're talking about. They're a lot more sexually deviant. unfortunately.
Oh, yes, I see.
It's
I see
always a
what you mean.
guy that leads a commune that he makes he tricks people into believing he's, the connection to God or their God. And it always results in somehow him getting to sleep with everyone in the community.
Oh, that's so disturbing. Yeah,
Yeah, I know, but that's what most cults are like, man.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Yep. I was gonna actually ask you. I'm like, I feel like New Zealand has had one of those, or did I just misread? I feel like New Zealand had one of those, right?
Are you kidding me, or are you being serious right now?
I'm being serious. I'm not talking about the one that we know of.
Oh, I was gonna say there's one that we know of, and I don't
But
know why
was that
we've never
confirmed?
spoken about it on the podcast before.
I feel like we should, because I've definitely had so many weird moments with that, and that's in the woods. That's literally in the woods.
in the
That's
woods.
crazy. Yeah. We
Yeah.
actually ran away once with my high school friends. I don't know if you were there at the time.
I wasn't. I heard about it afterwards.
Dude,
but
we
we
literally
should get into this
drove-
one a whole another episode, I think, because
Hell
it
yeah.
can. There's a lot of research. I've researched it before. It can be a whole episode, but
Oh, totally.
don't worry,
Okay.
listeners. You'll find out about the cult that
Yep.
we saw with our own eyes
Yep.
and interacted with when we were younger. But
Oh,
anyway,
creepy. Yeah. I actually kind of like suppressed that memory. But
I
anyways,
think you did, because you kind of just were ignoring it as you were asking
Yeah.
a question that was just about that.
I was like, hold on, how am I talking about the lost or the woods? And, we experienced that. That's
Yeah.
really funny. But you know what? We'll talk about it another time. Let's go back to the story of, this poor guy experiencing weird staircases. He describes it like this. He goes, it's almost like if you took the stairs in your house, cut them out, and put them in the forest. I asked about it the first time I saw some, and the other officer just told me not to worry about it, that it was normal, and he said everyone I asked said the same thing. I wanted to go check them out, but I was told very empathetically that I should never go near any of them. I just sort of ignore them now, and when I run into them, because it happens so frequently, I don't mind it much. So just to recollect, majority of the internet right now is kind of like bringing the story back up again on social media, and they're all talking about these staircases, and some have actually provided evidence of like random staircases in the middle of the nowhere, like in the middle of the forest. And some people have I guess even recorded themselves climbing up and saying like, okay, I kind of feel a bit ill now. I kind of feel a bit tired with a headache. So that could be acting, that could be, just making, a weird story out of it. But I don't know. I just find it really funny that a lot of people it's a kind of like the clown epidemic.
Epidemic.
But it's now just staircases. A lot of people are kind of talking about it. So I'm surprised you haven't saw it or seen it. Sorry.
No, this is the first time I hear about the staircase epidemic. I'm not gonna lie, but the main thing that was annoying me, I was like, that would have been a perfect title for this goddamn story. Why'd you call it the forest?
No, I call it the Lost Woods.
The Lost Woods. What the hell? That has nothing to do with the story.
You know what?
The
We're
woods aren't
changing it.
lost.
No,
We know where they
the woods
are.
are lost. They're
No,
lost.
and
We're in
we-
a different timeline. None of this is real. I'm a reptilian.
Oh my god, I lost him. He's gone. He's gone. You know what? This is the last time I ever let you tell a story.
I feel that already. But look, let's
I'm
change
kidding.
the title.
I'm kidding.
Let's change the title right now.
Okay, retrospectively changing the title.
Yeah.
What are you gonna call it?
What did you suggest 5 seconds ago?
Okay, so what am I gonna call it? I would have
Yeah.
called it the stairs epidemic.
You know what? The mysterious. No, okay. You know what?
The
Yeah.
mysterious woods. You just go backwards and do the same thing again.
The woods that are not lost. No, we'll
Okay.
call it the staircase epidemic. But honestly, it's. I was looking at this comment, and when sometimes the comments of a post are just a bit more juicy and a bit more like creepy. I was going down that rabbit hole of just like constantly going through what people are saying about this, and the more I got into it, I'm like, what? Like, is this real? And I got real confused, and I was like, I have to talk to you about this. So, and thanks to my brother, he actually mentioned it.
Oh wow, yeah. Has he? Okay, I was gonna say has he experienced it, but I doubt he has. The first thing that comes to mind when you said people that went up those stairs and they said that they are starting to feel ill or tired or sick are they passing over? Is that what's happening? Are they like dying? Or is it like a stairway into heaven, literally? But you're just going into the other realm or something like that. But
Well,
you're forcing it. I don't know. That's what I was thinking. It's kind of scary.
But I was reading comments, and the more I read about it, people were saying like the opposite of that. They're saying,
Oh.
actually, you're climbing into hell. I'm like, how do you climb into hell? all things have told us that obviously hell is like below us, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I just found that comment really weird. But people are saying it's actually a portal, to the demon realm, and
Ugh.
it's basically like allowing yourself to be in that presence and around that energy, and that's why you feel real lightheaded so suddenly. So I don't know. I think
I don't like
it's,
that.
yeah, it's a bit creepy, and a lot of like if you actually watch the videos, a lot of people are like literally looking at staircases in the middle of the woods, and they don't actually make sense. That's like the weird part.
Yeah, I would love to see it. I'm gonna Google it right now. I'm gonna look
Yeah.
up staircase in the woods. Oh my god, I wrote stair and the first thing that came up was in the woods.
Yeah.
Ooh, creepy. I just got a tingle down my spine. Tinkle down my spine. Someone's peeing down my spine.
Yeah, it's Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
you gotta tinkle your spine.
Yeah. I'm feeling a
Yeah, but look at
tinkle
that,
down my
man.
spine from Tinklebell.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really weird. There's some. I'm just looking at these photos. You guys can look it up as well. Some of them, to be fair, just look like ancient stairs from like a castle that used to be there or something like that, and it's just weathered over time.
Yeah.
But some of them are just like there was nothing ever here, and
Yeah.
there's a random concrete stairwell or a spiral staircase in some of these, and they are very anomalous and backrooms looking. I don't like this. I regret looking this up.
Look at that one. I'm gonna send you one, and there's no foundations to support the stairs. They're just floating. They just look like they've been dropped
Yeah.
from like some form of like Roblox Studio game maker kind of like tool, and that's it.
Looks like an optical illusion, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What did he see at the top of these stairs? Was it just like this where they just suddenly end? Like in some of these photos? Or was there like a platform up there or something?
No. So think about some staircases from like modern homes. Ones that go, up in one direction, then they do like a 90-degree angle and they go back, behind them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or no, what am I saying? 180, excuse me. Point being is it's just like you go up and then you kind of walk towards where you your backside when you initially start walking. It's one of those ones that don't make sense because they lead to nowhere. That makes sense. And so when he went up, the guy that posted a selfie, it kind of looked innocent because he was with his kids. He was trying to debunk the theory, I guess. But his kid is the one that said, "I'm starting to feel a little bit lightheaded or sick." I can't remember which one it was. I don't want to go down. Yeah, I don't want to go down into that rabbit hole where kids are linked or can feel stuff and like connect with spirits, more than adult humans, all that stuff. But
Right.
I kind of like disconnected straight away because I really don't like that kind of stuff. So yeah, I thought it was interesting, and I'm not talking about those like ancient looking stairs. I'm talking about the modern looking stairs. Those ones are really confusing. Make no sense.
Yeah. No, there's the first image that comes up when you look it up. Links to an article from themirror.co.uk, which is a news site. I'm not 100% sure how credible that news site is, but the title is "Woman Explains Why You Should Always Stay Away from Random Staircases in the Woods." A woman has gone viral on TikTok after sharing a spooky warning about random staircases in the middle of the woodland and why she believes it's best to stay away from them. So clearly this is something that is going viral right now.
Do you think, well, we kind of mentioned it before, it was all about, at the time when we thought about the woods, we thought about the Blair Witch Project. Do you think this has some form of link to witchcraft or anything like that?
I don't know. I think it's definitely more to do with, well, firstly, I'm actually really pessimistic. Like I don't believe in any of this stuff. So I don't think it's true at all. I think there's probably like a random reason for it. It'll be like in construction, sometimes it costs a lot of money when you're doing demolition to dump stuff. Like you actually have to pay when you send stuff to the dump.
That's right, of course.
What if they were like, you know what, we'll just put it really deep in the woods and no one will ever find it. It's from a modern house that we're demoing before we're going to do a new construction. So I'm like, there's probably a reason for it. But then the other side of me that wants to believe in this stuff is like, this is one of those things where you cross over into the ethereal realm or whatever it's called. And because you know how they say, demons and stuff are in the same world as us, just in a dimension that we can't see them. This is when I'm like, am I gonna go up these stairs and then like come back down and I'm in that
Yeah.
other side and then I can see
Yeah,
other
yeah.
stuff. So that's why I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
find it way too scary to ever find out.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I think though.
Well, I have some information I kind of didn't really present to you at first, and I kind of want to, after all of this, just hear what you think. They said the reason for these stairs to appear randomly is usually at grounds or places where lost children or children have been missing and confirmed, dead or passed away deceased. And according to, I can't remember where I read it, but it was, I think, actually one of the videos I watched on TikTok or something about it. They were saying that these stairs eventually pop up exactly where children have gone missing or passed away. I kind of repeat what I said, but I don't know. Do you find that like kind of weird? It's almost like they get spawned.
Well, I don't really understand the connection, to be honest with you.
I
So
don't
like,
either. That's why
I get it that it might be a point of like, something terrible happening and that causes a rift, kind of like a Fortnite rift, those big like
Yeah.
cracks in the dimension. But
Yeah.
this time, I have no idea why it would spawn stairs. It might just be a threshold element, used in construction, and threshold represents a passing between one space to another. And that's why a stairs appears. It would also make sense if like a door frame were to appear because that's another architectural threshold.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's as far as I can sort of like
Yeah.
connect the ends of these 2 points, but I'm not sure that
Could it be like
maybe.
the Serbian lady, like the other, episode where it's just one of those things that kind of went pretty huge on social media, and like people like you and I kind of enjoy these stories, and we look into it, but there's actually no real meaning. Maybe they're edited. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It could be totally photoshopped. I mean, does this lady that does the TikTok about it, does she actually show her in the woods with these stairs? Let's
No.
have on. No, it's
No,
a photo. Yeah, she's
Oh, sorry. She shows a photo, but she's not in the actual woods
yeah,
herself.
exactly. So
Other people have definitely shown random stairs. This is what I don't understand. Is like, okay, if that photo doesn't look real to us or whoever, that's okay. But what about all the other people genuinely showing staircases in the middle of like nowhere? Like, we're talking about like, it's almost like a glitch. Like, why is there that right there? It's one of those. And those are like videos. They're not like, they don't really look at it. They're just there.
Yeah, look, I'm super pessimistic when it comes to these things. It's so hard to believe, but it's fun to theorize about. But based off of the story that you've told, I don't know if I'm convinced, man. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Reddit do be redditing, right? So
Yeah,
you're one of
Reddit
those,
do be Redditing.
could just be one of those people that are really creative and they can just build this insane creepy world in a matter of 500 words or so.
Aren't people building freaking water parks with like a shovel in like random countries? Those
Yes.
videos?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So then,
I mean,
a staircase is easy.
Yeah, like I feel like those like stone kind of cobblestone looking ones are a bit like, I don't know, a bit far fetched. And even the new modern ones, I don't know, those look, I don't know. I just find it really odd. It's almost like going into the middle of the woods and finding a subway that's still open. It's like that. Does that make sense? Did I lose you? Are you there? Are you ordering Subway in the woods right now? But it's kind of like something that shouldn't be there. It's one of those. Okay, you know what? What if the story isn't real? What if the Reddit guy made it up? What if it could have been anything? What if it starts like I don't know. I don't want to go down that road. But the point is like, let's just say everything is not real. Okay? But I want to know why. Why are stairs there in the middle of the woods,
Oh my god. You've spun me for a loop, man. I have no idea what we're talking about anymore because you asked me like 10 what ifs, and as I was trying to think of a response for the first one, you already hit me with the fifth one. So I don't even know anymore. But I do have one question for you.
Sure.
What the hell did this have to do with Skinwalkers?
So that was the pre-chat. I was kind of thinking, I'm like, okay, we saw that, you called it a makeup job, right? Where she kind of just looks like a Halloween outfit or something. What did you say it was? Yeah, and I was like, what if that was a Skinwalker? What if that, and what if, and the thing is
so what? What did that have to do with the stairs in the woods?
What if all of this is linked to Skinwalkers and this is how they bait you?
Oh, okay, right. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. So are you saying like there could be uh a Skinwalker in that initial story
No.
that you were telling me about where he was saving someone from the
Oh,
woods?
yes. So the first story is
Yeah.
basically building up the idea that the forest is creepy and people
Yeah.
are terrified from it, right?
Right.
What if these things that people interact with and these weird magical encounters, like random staircases popping up out of nowhere, what if this is all under like that umbrella of like, skinwalkers or Nordic like weird forest creatures like Ichthyr
Mm.
from Valheim, like these kind of things. I don't know.
Right,
Like,
right,
what if it's
right.
all connected? What if there's like a cult that somehow has like a hierarchy of power, and the thralls of the hierarchy is the skinwalkers, and like, the majors are like these deer horn antler looking, monsters. And
Yeah,
what
yeah,
if one
yeah.
of the gimmicks is like random stairs popping up out of nowhere?
I'm not
I
gonna
don't know.
lie, you have the creative brain to come up with an entire fantasy world if you ever chose to write a book or create a game. I think you have the fuel to like come up with everything. You
You
just
think
need
so?
someone to put it down on paper for you or like
Yeah,
roadmap it. It'll be like, all
yeah,
right, so
yeah,
there's a kingdom. What are the thralls like? You're like, oh, Ichthyr. They're just
yeah.
got bones on their ass. You'll just come up with
Yeah,
something and
yeah.
you'll be like,
And
what's
there's
the
a
connection?
subway. Oh
Yeah.
my god,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
subway's the base. That's
How
where
do you?
the
What's
the
the
lair.
threshold to get into this other realm? Subway in the woods. That's what.
Well, okay, you know what? I'm gonna connect the dots. I'm gonna answer my own confusion here. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say that the staircases, it's like Howl's Moving Castle. You know how the castle has a door that kind of like randomly opens up to a different location each time, depending on the
Yeah.
configuration you set it to.
Yeah.
What if the staircases, the moment you walk up and then you turn around, you walk down the stairs, you're suddenly walking down in a different location. And what if, just what if,
What
people
if?
say don't go up those stairs because you end up in a different timeline, like that story that we covered, like the lamp that glitches.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that would be insane. That would be freaking insane. What if? Yeah. What
What
if?
if? And I conclude all the story and back to our reality. So, yeah,
Snap back to
that
reality.
that's what I had to bring to the table today. It was a weird Reddit post, and honestly, I really like these. I just even if there's no real conclusions, I just love listening and reading about them and watching footage about
Yeah,
them.
well,
So,
I what I really enjoy as well is sometimes just like picking it apart,
yeah,
just coming
yeah,
up with a theory of our own on why it's actually not true. I
yeah,
guess the reason that I came up with is because in my previous life, before I was a YouTuber, I worked in construction and project management.
yeah.
And something that I do know is that sometimes builders can cut corners when it
Uh-huh.
comes to saving costs. So, they could be like, hey, it's going to cost us this much to do the demo work and this much
Yeah,
to build it. And
yeah,
then they're like, you know what? We don't need to pay the skip guys. We can just dump it in the woods and take the money for ourselves. Like
uh-huh.
these things really do happen sometimes. It doesn't happen all the time,
Yeah,
but there's stories of it happening. People can do like devious things.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and so I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a really bizarre reason as to why.
Uh,
But the fact that there's multiple, you've said, and when I Googled it, I saw that there's multiple out there, that makes me think that there might be more to this. There might actually be a thing
that's
around.
the thing that holds me like kind of still invested, is that I think like it's way too odd for, okay, maybe let's say if we ran into like one or two photos, sure, okay, but there's more than 15. I'm scrolling, there's like all these different types and style and different materials and stuff. So, and some look old, some look new, so like maybe it's like a traditional thing that
Hmm,
some people in a cult are still doing,
yeah.
that has been passed on, and now that's why they're modern stairs. I don't know, but the point is like this doesn't look normal, and I think when things like this pop up, I don't know. I think I want to I want to know more. I don't want to like look away. So it's interesting to me, at least.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Eyes are glued to it.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Love it.
yeah.
Well, thank you for giving me such an interesting story. I really enjoyed that. I want you to do more.
Okay, good. I felt like that was weird because my brain was all over the place, but at the same time, we must know that the forest is not. I just want to put this out there. I feel like the forest is not a fun place to be in. So next time we need to go into the forest, you and I, and maybe do some investigation.
All right. Sounds good. Just you and I can go into the forest and I feel like you're gonna like do something to me in the forest. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
You're kind of scaring me.
Look,
You're just like, you and I,
know-
you need to investigate just
Look,
ourselves.
No.
And then you're gonna be like, remember that part where you
Yeah.
made fun of my title in the
It's me,
story?
I'm the reptilian. I'm the Skinwalker. I like go up the stairs and I come
Yeah.
back and I'm a different person.
Yeah, no,
but
you're gonna
listen.
just whisper in my ear. You're gonna be like, "You remember that mole on your ass?" Yeah, it's getting. Keep it moving, buddy.
Speed up, speed up,
Yeah,
speed up.
speed
I
up,
don't wanna see that mole. No, I want to see that mole. Don't speed up. No, I'm joking.
Slow down.
No, what I wanted to say is it would be really cool. You know how some people on YouTube do like ghost hunting and stuff like that? I feel
Yeah.
like skinwalker hunting, if that's a thing, like I don't know, like we should do that.
Sure, let's go hunt some skinwalkers, man. Let's find them.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's
find
do
them.
it.
We
Let's
just
do
find
it.
each other.
That's how it ends. It just ends like that.
Oh man,
But
I'm
yeah, no,
dying.
thanks for listening. Thanks for being.
No,
a
I
good
absolutely
guest.
love that, man. Thank you so much for telling the story this week. It made my
That's
life
good.
a lot easier.
That's good. That's good.
And,
Alrighty, man.
I guess
Thanks for
we'll
listening.
see everyone next week for another story. And this episode should be coming out on like Christmas Day or very close to it. So
Yeah.
enjoy it if you have some spare time and you're not in the hustle and bustle of the Christmas family lunches or opening your presents.
Sweet as. Thanks for watching or listening, I should say, everybody. And yeah, I think you should also mention you just recently hit a million subscribers. So anything coming up for that?
I think I mentioned that in our last episode that I hit 1 million, but yeah, absolutely. The it's probably worth mentioning a bit of the ideas for what we're going to be doing in the future, especially for my shift in 2024 in content style. Now that I've done a face reveal and you can see what I actually look like, I'm going to start doing some more playthroughs and face cam sort of content, and especially playthroughs of really, really scary horror games where you have to go into the middle of the woods in the middle of the night because there's a cult.
Nice.
So watch this space. Watch this space. That's all I've got to say.
Alrighty, I'm signing out.
All right.
Thanks
See you
for
later,
listening.
everybody. Bye.